Hey, Ocklawahaboy Rocks here. You saw my quick little intro video of the new to me 24-inch Covington slab saw. So I'm going to do a whole workup video on it, show you around it, do some first cuts, maybe address some things I've seen in some other videos about it. It'll probably take me a while to record this one, so you'll probably see me in 4 different shirts, with a hat, without a hat. So I'm just going to kind of do this as I go. For the cutting, I'm going to cut some of my not best material. Some material I purchased. I don't want my first cuts to be with my great big thunder eggs that I want to get perfect. I've got some Picasso marble from Utah that I picked up at the boneyard from Dog Valley Dick there. So that's should be my softest material. Then I've got some, I believe this is aventurine, green quartz, should be somewhere in the middle. And a piece of Brazilian agate that I purchased at Richardson's Rock Ranch. I didn't mention I picked this up at a rockhound roundup at Swanee, one of the Southeastern Mineral Society. I can't remember. There's a group of affiliated rockhound groups in the Southeast U.S. One of them has a rock show, powwow, meetup type thing, roundup I think they call it, at Spirit of the Swanee Campground in Florida. So that's where I picked this up, and this will be the harder material I try. So I tried to get them roughly the same size. I'll cut them, make a slab or two, and see what the quality of cut is like. So I don't know what I'll do next. I'll go look at the saw, I'll go cut something, but we're gonna just kind of have a sort of in-depth look at that saw because there's not a lot of videos on it on the YouTubes. All right, so here it is. This is pretty much just how I got it. I haven't done anything. My bidder number's even still on the tag. Has a nice little access panel here. Sorry, the light isn't very good in my garage, but lets you see down into the saw there. I think this is particle board or something. It appears so on the videos online, what few there are. So I think this person replaced that with plexiglass. This is the power switch from the front. It is connected. You're getting to see some of my mess. It comes through back here. So that's just a toggle switch with a hole drilled in it. And that rod goes all the way through and powers the saw. So let's open up the belt access panel. So it looks like the power feed is set on the slowest speed right now. I can change that on the pulleys to change the speed. There is a tensioner down there. There's the motor. And we've got just a shaft here, a simple gear setup. There's a little oil reservoir there to keep the gear lubed. We have basic bearings that can be lubed there. This bolt's gotten a little bent there, but that's okay. So shut this and we'll look inside the saw. All right, forgive me for using the light on my phone. I know that's not the best, but even if I bring my ring light over here, it won't show everything. So this is the inside of the saw, just like I got it. A little bit muddy. Nice Barranca diamond blade with lots of life left in it. The only place I could find that blade online, it was like $700 and a quarter, which is over half what I paid for the saw. So that's good. Nice beefy arbor. Got a hinge there that locks in place. And that's really good because this lid is right at my comfort of lifting it up. I'm 6'6", and it's a heavy, heavy lid. Nice big vise. It's got a two-handed, you have to release here. Now, the one thing I didn't know this saw was supposed to come with, there's a second vise block that you're supposed to use for clamping small material, because you can see, that's about as far as you can go without pulling the whole carriage back. Let's see if I can do that one-handed. But yeah, that would make it much easier all the way around if you had the second vise block that's supposed to bolt on there. So both the vise and the carriage on the power feed, or I don't know what these are even called, but they're threaded clamps. And then this is the locking mechanism that locks that vise in place so that that can't vibrate off. So you got your fine adjustment here on your vise. There's also supposed to be a spanner tool for this that I didn't know was supposed to come with it. I think I can make one. But there were boxes of stuff all over that shop where the auction was going on, so I'm sure the guy had it, and I'm sure someone else has it and has no idea what it is now. The side step here on the carriage. Here's the adjustment for the power, so that when your cut is done, it powers the saw down for you right here. And there's a video from Highland Park comparing their saw to a Covington saw. Now, it's not this model Covington saw, but it talks about how kind of, according to them, kind of chintzy the clamp in the carriage is. They didn't use that word, but the clamp moves a little bit when there's nothing clamped in it, but the carriage just does, you really have to lift on it to flex it at all. And I think once it's all clamped down, it would be just fine. And there are adjustment screws here, one here, so you can make it even tighter on the rails than what it is. And of course, the tighter you make it, the harder it's going to be to make these adjustments. And if you screw this down real tight, eventually you're going to get a little bit of wear probably. So I think it's going to be just fine, but I'm going to clamp that material I showed you in, and we're going to do some cuts with it. Okay, I have my piece of Picasso marble clamped in there. Gonna get a fairly thick slab out of that. I might back it out a little bit more for the first cut. I've got my shut-off nut there. I hadn't used one of those before, so I've tried to get it set up where it'll auto shut the saw off. And I'm going to shut the lid and start it up. Alright, the saw is running. It's very quiet compared to my other saws. But you can see it's running there. Open up the access panel. You can see it going in there. The power feed is on the slowest setting, so you can't hardly see it turning, but it's turning just barely, and I'll give it some time. Okay, the saw has cut off. Oh, heave up here. Probably should have let it sit another minute for the mist, but I increased the feed rate about halfway through because I was getting impatient. It looks like it cut the saw off right about where I wanted it to. Gosh, that Picasso marble is pretty stuff. I'm going to run a straight edge across these later, but that looks like a pretty flawless slab. Yeah, there would be some pretty cabs in that slab too. Right about here. Anyway, I was at Walmart yesterday and forgot to buy a big bag of cat litter, so I don't have any in here. It's out in the outside shop. Alright, all I'm going to do now is just back this out, move it over, and take another slab so that I've got a complete slab from this saw to look at as far as even thickness and all that. Okay, I've got my other Picasso marble slab. I can see some imperfections already. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some very light issues here and there. Nothing that would matter making a cab, but if you're trying to polish a slab, it might take some more time. Got a little face there. Kind of cool. It's not on that side. Okay, I'm going to clamp up the aventurine. Okay, here's my slab of aventurine. Just pulled it off the saw. It looks pretty good. I think I got the automatic shut-off time pretty well on that one. Just another little 1/16 of an inch. Might have been a little better, but close enough for government work. Okay, I'll take that green stuff out and get the agate chucked in there. All right, these are the slabs that I cut. So, of course, we got some little burrs here from them. Slabs kind of break off before the blade's completely done cutting. But overall, they look pretty decent. Yeah, like just about anything, you get a little bit of roughness there. So I don't know right where my calipers are at the moment, but these slabs look pretty true. I'm showing them to you dry right now on purpose because you can see the imperfections a little better. So let's look at them on a straight edge. This is the straight edge I happen to have handy. You can kind of see there, I don't know if it's the straight edge or the rock. There's a little bit of variation there. Seems to kind of stay consistent if I move it on the straight edge, so it's probably the rock. So not perfectly straight on that one. This Picasso marble slab, that looks pretty doggone good there. Now the Brazilian agate, maybe a tiny bit of variation in the cut there in the middle. Right around the 11 maybe, but not much, not enough to let light through. And I thought these were some particularly pretty rocks, so just gonna give them a spray so that you can see that. This Picasso marble, I paid $1 a pound for it. That's a pretty stone for $1 a pound. This was out of the cheap pile at Richardson's Rock Ranch. And yeah, not great colors, brown, but good banding. I don't remember what I paid for this at the meetup up on the Swanee in North Florida, but it's still a pretty color green. Hey, all right, I've been wanting to do the wrap up for the 24-inch Covington saw. Hadn't got a chance, but I want to get that video edited and get it posted, so figured, yeah, I'm out here, might as well do it. So gonna have a couple videos from here. What a awesome place, beautiful desert area. But back to the Covington. So you saw the cuts I made, you saw the basic workings of the saw. Just some final thoughts. I had a little bit of trouble with the knob on the end of to tighten the vise. It's got a little set screw that basically just puts pressure on the all thread. So that's kind of not the best design. I may have to take that off and drill a little dimple in the all thread and put a new set screw in it. So that'll hold good and tight. And then I did cut a piece of, I guess it's some kind of banded flint on it, a much larger block of material. And I got one little bitty little wave in the cut. So I need to track that down, making cabs. It won't be any problem, but if you were cutting slabs like to make a checkerboard or something, yeah, that would be enough to cause you a little bit of problem. But other than that, I'm really excited to have the saw. It's kind of like having a proper slab saw finally. So again, you'll see some videos from out here. Just give you a little bit of a panorama of what this looks like. It's right here on the county line is the turnoff. The actual digging beds are way out there, miles, 10 miles-ish. And I'm camped about 1.5 miles down that road at Coon Hollow. So I head out of here tomorrow. My digging's been done. So I will see you with those videos on some Thunder Egg Thursday.